Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself in this world of ours. Today we go back to Dragon Age Rise of the Kunari after the last party had suffered a rather horrific event down at the up at the northern harbor district that was attacked by Kunari raiders. They successfully managed to get them to retreat and managed to save what was left of the port town, despite the hideous losses. There was some uplift, knowing that a raid was successfully pushed away, and the defenses of the coastal cities has now been upped and put on the main priority list. But now our camera shifts back to the main headquarters of the Inquisition, where we see Jacqueline going down to talk to a particular Inquisition member who is in charge of dealing with a lot of the animals that the Inquisition acquires.
Jacqueline will walk up to the person in charge and just go, um, is this where I can get Mubari?
You see a Dalish woman sitting up on the second kind of this little stone, almost wall. Not much of a wall though. It's more of a whatever they're called, the colonists. And you go up and you can see a couple pens where there's a lot of horses and other stables and whatnot. And you know this woman's name is Deva. This is your first time meeting with her. But she's sitting up on the wall with a very large raven kind of just perched next to her, and she's just kind of stroking it. Oh, Jacqueline. I was wondering when you would answer my summons.
Well, a lot of stuff has happened.
Indeed, I heard. I that was rather unfortunate, but you did get there in time to at least do some good.
Yes, at least we saved some of the people.
Well, I've been meaning to ask you about something. That little expedition you did to the southern forest when you found those herbs and whatnot. You had a bit of a stowaway following you.
We
It
did.
seems. Yes,
Interesting.
I thought the poor thing was going to die of starvation, so I gave him some food, water, and nursed him back to health. And but he's been calling for you.
Oh, how so?
Perhaps you should come and see for yourself.
I follow her.
You follow her around the edge of the stables, and it's a very nice day. It is like almost hotter than it was uh, the previous week. It's now probably about 104 outside, and
Fuck.
it's really not that muggy. It's been dry for the past 2 days, so it's just a really dry heat.
Oh,
And you
that's
come out
not
around
horrible.
this and you come out around the stable and you go into the shade of this massive kind of stable area that's been made, and it's almost like walking into a cooler. And you see in this one particular pen a very large looking Mabari war dog. It is a tiger striped pattern with a brown background, kind of a brown backdrop with black stripes wheeling over it.
Mm-hmm.
When you both approach the wooden kind of stable area, its ears perk up and it looks at you both approaching, and it immediately stands up and starts wagging its little stub.
I'm guessing this is the stowaway.
This is indeed the little stowaway, and she immediately goes up, and dog just jumps up and she just starts petting it over the little rise.
Huh.
And then it seems to focus on you, and it tilts its head and goes, "Mm-hmm."
I'm not that familiar with the Mubari imprinting, as I've heard it called. What can you tell me about the process?
Well, typically it's like the process of bonding with any other animal, except it's a little bit quicker and a little bit more stronger than what you would do if you did not have a magical aptitude or another connection. Tell me, did you fight anything down there when you?
Yeah, we fought a what looked to be a possessed bear.
I see. That would explain the cuts and bites he had on him.
Mm,
I think the puzzle pieces are starting to come together.
so it may seem.
She opens the gate, and the Mabari immediately walks up towards you and sits, and then just looks up at you expectantly.
Um, Jacqueline's gonna lower her hand in front of the Mubari's face for it to sniff.
Mabari kind of sniffs your hand, looks up at you, wags its little stub,
I pet him.
lets you pet him. Ears go down, seems to be very comfortable.
So what I can guess is that he's imprinted himself on me.
That would seem so. If you are indeed the one who saved him from that bear, and if that's what the situation is entitled, then yes, definitely. That explains why he came so far to simply be with you.
Fair enough. Though I'm surprised he didn't imprint himself on Priscilla, because she was with me too, and frankly did more than I did.
I don't understand often the imprints of animals. It's difficult, and I've been doing this for many years, about 200 now. But it's. I'm not sure. It's just something that sometimes it can be very random.
Hmm.
You see
Well,
the giant raven come kind of swooping in, and it lands on a little perch not too far from you.
I'm guessing that is your imprinted raven.
Oh yes, that's Maximilian.
Hmm. Very beautiful bird.
Name given to him by my late husband.
Oh, I'm sorry for your loss.
It's all right. He died in the fifth blight.
Hmm. I lost a few friends and a lover myself during that time, escaping the tower.
Troubling times. Often, let's hope that we can prevent further blights from coming now that the situations have changed. Let's hope so, anyway.
We shall see in the coming years.
She says, "Oh, I almost forgot," and she hands you a little bag. And if you look inside, they appear to be little Mabari treats.
Oh,
And she runs down kind of like a little list of like things like how to take care of the dog, what this means, and what she knows about it.
mm-hmm.
And basically, she says it's up to you on how you want to train it or how you want to equip it, or et cetera, et cetera.
Alrighty.
But then she also hands you a little whistle. This whistle is silent to your ears, but when you
It's a
blow
dog
on it,
whistle.
yeah, the Mabari's like, aha!
Alrighty. Um,
It's actually, if you write this down, it is a whistle of calling. Only your pets hear it. No other pets or animals in the area hear it.
interesting.
Yes.
But that sounds like I can have more pets.
Uh, Start taking levels in Druid Beastmaster. I mean, that'll happen.
That's very true. Um, I'll putting the whistle in my pouch. I'll ask, Do you know by chance what gender this one is?
It is a he.
Ah, well then, I already have the perfect name for him. Brutus.
Dog kind of looks up at you and goes, "Woof," and then kind of starts spinning around.
Well, Brutus, how would you like to stand by me and repay the favor that I did to you and
He
protect me?
he stands up and his stub starts to wag uncontrollably.
Seems like a yes to me.
Woof.
Well, thank you, Deva, for notifying me of this new companion.
Of course. And come visit anytime.
Definitely will. I'm sure he's bonded in some way with at least Maximilian.
The raven comes over, and as the Mabari's sitting, despite the fact that this raven is huge, perches on the dog's head.
Good friends indeed.
Ah!
Well, we really should be getting back to my lab. I got a few experiments to run, make sure nobody's dying.
Of course. She holds up her hand, and Maximilian comes and lands on it and then crawls up to her shoulder. And she says, I'll be seeing you around, Jacqueline. Take care, you two.
You take care of yourself.
Of course. And you notice that she goes to walk away from you, and as she turns the corner, you see two large ravens go flying out into the fields.
Interesting. Nice to see another druid out in the wilds. And proceeds to walk on back to her lab with Brutus.
All right, you head on back to your lab, where you've got a couple projects waiting, and let's go to Casey. I can't say your character's name. What is it?
Orin Vovar.
Orin Vovar. Okay, for whatever reason, it was blocked on my screen. Orin, your shackles have been removed, and you're sitting in Priscilla's office.
About time I got these damn things off me.
For a moment, there doesn't appear to be anyone around.
My character just goes to rub his ankles.
The door opens, and you see Priscilla walk in.
Hello, young glass.
She kind of looks up at you as she's reading what looks to be a report, sets it down on her desk, and then sits across from you. And she says, so, why don't you tell me what we should do with you?
Personally, I'm not quite sure either. I came here to join the Inquisition and be help. I thought that was an explosive testing area.
Uh-huh.
There's plenty of holes there.
You've caused us quite a bit of damage in that particular area.
I thought it was
not
Porthos character that was doing that.
No, that would be your little act that did that. See, it's often in life we think things are okay, but it's often best to check to make sure that you're 100% sure that you can do something without requisites. We have looked over your profile and we've seen your work, we've seen your overall arc, so to speak, and we will indeed recruit you into the Inquisition. However, for the next 2 to 3 weeks, you will be working off to pay for the damages that you have done.
Just some measly holes. That's all that was.
Right? Do you have? And of course, the money I gave you for the session, you don't have at the moment. You'll get that afterwards. But she says, do you have the money to pay for those holes right now in your pockets?
Hey, I don't.
Exactly. You don't. And you're the one that did the damage. So you're going to help work it off. And it's going to take a couple weeks.
Very well. My character goes to drink from one of his flasks.
In lighter news, we have accepted you as an Inquisition member. She hands you some paperwork, basically bill of lading bills, saying that you're who you are, and she slides across the table a Inquisition badge or emblem as a symbol of office.
I take the items and pin the badge onto me.
Right. Your first order of duty is going to be, we have a little bit of a project that some of our alchemists and other members are undertaking. I would like you to immediately start to work on it.
Very well.
They are undertaking a matter of developing some new blasting powder and developing new model of cannon to be used for coastal defenses.
Explosives, you say? My character raises one of his eyebrows in intrigue.
Well, of course. That's why we hired you. Anywho, this particular assignment you will not be paid for since it's paying you for the damage you did to the Inquisition. However, any other jobs you do on the bounty board or any tasks that you may aid the other Inquisition members or fellow recruiters, then that's their business to pay you. And of course, the Inquisition will compensate you if you do things outside of your daily routines. So, what we need to have you do now is I need you to go talk to Commander Rex. He will be down in the port. You go down about 5 miles down to the beachhead, and around his ship will be docked in a particular cove. That is where a lot of the research is taking place. Porthos and a few others are also on duty for research. But if you could, I would also like you to go and stop by Jacqueline's alchemist lab and talk with her about some possible things. Maybe put your heads together and at least associate yourself with the other alchemists.
Very well.
That will be all.
My character
All previous charges have been dropped. You may leave.
My character hops off from the chair that's obviously too high for him and just waddles out.
All right. And before we have that scene, let's go to Boris, if you're here.
Hello.
You are currently in the medical barracks. And although you have been fully healed, Zach is now just taking off the cast from your arm that you can now move again after getting smashed with a stone that was twice your size.
Oh. Well, I suppose the moment the cast came off, I'd be wriggling my arm.
Ah, there. See? It is new. I told you I know what I'm doing. Mostly.
I haven't really had to be down here before. And he looks around and he examines the medical area.
Medical area is actually pretty abandoned with exception of two just unnamed guards kind of over on one of the other cots. One in the corner, one sitting up drinking and eating. His body appears to be fully bandaged. The other guy is out cold and probably in a state of poor condition, but doing all we can for him. Zach kind of looks you up and down. He's like, well, that should be it. I mean, you're good to go. You're pretty sturdy.
This Zach character, what is he wearing?
He's literally wearing what you see in the picture.
I point at him and I go, why do you wear a mask?
He takes off the mask, and he has a very bland black hair, black eyes, but his eyes are pitch black, and he's got just a pretty normal-looking face, actually. And he's like, well, it helps with the smell sometimes. I keep incense in the nose.
Does it not carry personal meaning?
It was my father's.
Ah, I see. Then it does. Good.
Not to mention, when I look at people, they look at my eyes and they get a little nervous.
I don't see why that would be a big deal. You could be...
When you're a doctor and have to interact with a lot of social conflicts, it can be a bit disadvantageous to have, people get nervous and scared around you. So I wear the mask.
What do you do when you're not healing?
Oh, usually developing, trying to find new ways to prolong life, so to speak. Basically just my work. But if I'm not working, then I'm usually out fighting or helping the Inquisition.
Prolong life.
So to speak, yes. Curing sicknesses, ailments, that kind of thing. After all...
Are you a... he thinks about it. He's... Because I'm pretty sure, even if the word scientist did exist back then, I don't think Boris would know it. He goes, so you're a thinker. You think stuff up.
So to speak, yes.
Could you do something for me?
Such as?
I could pay you, but I'm not sure if you want payment or not. And he stands up, and he goes, I want you to test my blood.
Oh, that'll be 100 gold.
And he gives him 100 gold. I want you to figure out... Well, I'm not sure if you could figure it out. I want to know... What am I? Because I don't know. I'm Kunori, of course, but... And he kind of does like a... like exaggerated hand movement over his body and goes, this, like...
He, without even asking, he just kind of grabs your arm and, within 5 seconds, just takes a nice syringe of blood.
All right. You work on that. I'm going to do things.
You're going to do things? You just did something.
He spaces up for a second and he goes, yeah.
And right there, you just did something again.
Oh my God. And he leaves.
he laughs.
Boris is going to, since he now apparently has money, or to some degree, there's things he wants to do. He's going to start purchasing equipment. He's going to start purchasing what would be needed to go on an expedition, a week-long expedition.
Okay, so probably health potions, rations, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Allies, if you want.
Yeah, if he wants to bring people, but he doesn't really have to pay for allies. Not to mention, Sans, if you're going to claim expedition, you want to go do this out of character, I can set this up for you and we can go do that expedition. Just tell me what NPCs you want. If you're going to do a solo expedition, you are allowed to bring 2 NPCs. If you bring a PC with you, let them know and make sure that you guys can be there for the sessions that that it happens on. But other than that, everything else, you can just declare where you're going and tell you how long it takes. Because that particular area where I know where you're going will take 2 weeks travel. So
right. Well, I want to make it. I'm not sure if any of the other PCs want to come with me. I will. Boris will make his way around. He has, when it comes to NPCs, he knows he wants.
Yeah, not to mention, if you as player characters want to specifically go out and do certain things with other people or even NPCs, you can also post them on the bounty board, and you can declare what you guys want to do. So it's no worries.
Well, besides purchasing equipment, Boris would want to, when it comes to NPCs, he would want to seek out somebody sneaky and then somebody who's a scholar.
Okay. After talking around, there's a few names that are dropped for you. In terms of someone sneaky, you are directed to kind of the lower areas where some of Liliana's agents work, and you're directed to this fellow.
Okay.
Which looks exactly like he does from the picture.
Mhm.
And the first thing that stands out about him is he is indeed Kunari, and he is a Kunari with no horns.
Hmm. Boris isn't very keen on his culture, but he does know that's important.
You see this man kind of sitting. He appears to be doing some sort of what I guess you would say trick with coins. He's out counting coins, and he's looking at them and marking them and doing odd things with them.
Mhm.
And you also see a basket of eggs next to him, which looks kind of weird.
Mhm.
And he looks up, looks back down, and he says, "So you're the one who's been asking for me. You're Boris, right?
Yes.
I see. And you want to go on an expedition then? That's it? And you're looking for someone with my expertise?"
If you fit the bill, yes.
I fit the bill. Well, what exactly kind of work are you looking for me to do?
I'm planning an expedition into the mountains. I'm going to try and find a dragon's lair, and then steal eggs, and then bring them back here.
I see. Are you hoping to raise them, so to speak?
I'd like to test the possibility.
I see. Well then, I recommend, in that case, an expedition of at least 4 people. Minimum.
Hmm.
But tell me, why would you need someone of my skills, just out of curiosity?
Well, the last thing I want is to go storming into the dragon's nest as much as I am keen on killing things and disrupt what exists. After all, if I kill it, I lose access to that location if I ever need to return.
I see. Well, I suppose that could work. And he says, yeah, I'll join you on your expedition. Just gather supplies and I'll get mine and let us know when we head out. I have a couple other people I can recommend to you for this particular task. I recommend at least one person of the mystic arts, and of course, you said you wanted a scholar, and I do know someone who could aid us in that.
I simply need somebody who's able to. Who's good with. He kind of grits his teeth and he goes, animals, thinking, note taking.
I know someone of that stature. I'll pass the word along, and I'll let you know. He writes down a couple names, and he hands them to you.
Why do you have eggs there?
He says, you've never sent messages by egg? He tosses you.
He's trying so hard to comprehend that sentence.
He tosses you one of the eggs, and you catch it. And he says, "Tell me, what does that egg say?"
Stares really hard at the egg, and he says, "It's an egg."
Just looks like a hard-boiled egg. He says, "Here, give it back." You toss it back to him, and he catches it. And then he does something to it. He kind of waves his hand over it a little bit, and then he tosses it back to you. And now the egg has stuff written on it. It's actually got a pretty decent amount of information written on it. And it says, Boris will be coming to see you today to talk about a possible expedition. And then it has some other things like what the time of day is, what, temperature is outside.
He stares at it. He thinks for a second, and he looks up, and he goes, "But I'm Boris."
Exactly.
How would I meet myself?
That egg was sent to me by one of my contacts. It's how we send messages secretly.
Oh, I see. It's not a message for me. It's a message for you.
Yep. And when you hand him back the egg, he just eats it. And then he swallows it, and he's like, not only that, easy to dispose of, so no one can find the hidden messages that you write.
Your informants are a bunch of chickens. My God. They're all over the place.
He says, some, sure. Not all.
All right. Well, you gave me a list. What does the list say? Where am I going?
The list has a couple names on it, two in particular. So you're looking around for some of the names. And one of the names in particular, let me go ahead and see if I can get the picture here. Is of this woman.
Alrighty.
Actually, when you look at her closely, when you first arrive to meet her, she's in kind of a office with a lot of paperwork. It's got books everywhere. There's some odd measuring devices that you're actually not sure what they are. You can see some protractors, maps, etc., etc. And at first glance, she appears to be human, but then you notice that she looks like, you'd almost say dwarf, but she's not a dwarf, because she has markings of the day, like she has not markings, but like qualities of the Dalish, but she's kind of small for a human or a Dalish. She's maybe just a little bit bigger than a dwarf, but not quite the size of, a typical human or Dalish. And as she's walking around, she's basically wearing what she's got on, and except she's got a little bit more armor on. And she kind of looks at you and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Can I help you?"
Hello. He kind of towers in the door and he walks through. And
yeah, you just like she's maybe I would say 5'3", and you're what, like 7?
Around there, like 6'8".
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, you are towering over this woman. And she just kind of looks up at you. She's holding that very ornate, intricate-looking staff. And she says, "Can I help you?"
Yes. I need your help on an expedition. And I was hoping you could assist. I was recommended by Eggman.
Oh, Trevisto. Yes.
Is he chasing a blue hedgehog?
Eggman.
She kind of looks and she says, "My name is Ziona. I take it you are another Inquisition member?"
Yes, I am Boris.
Oh,
I
Boris,
arrived.
good to meet you. And she reaches her hand up to shake your hand.
How big is my hand compared to hers?
Massive.
I take 2 fingers and shake her hand.
She looks up and she says, "Well, I take it. What jobs would I be doing for you? What assistance would you need from me?"
I need somebody who's good with examining behavior and note-taking, scholar work.
Well, I can do that. I'm a map maker and a pathfinder.
I was hoping we could the plan is to head into a dragon's den and retrieve the eggs and bring them back here, and then attempt to raise them.
Her eyes glow the moment you say that. Like, not as in like actually glowing, but as in like like if you just told a kid that you were giving him like 50,000 Reese's Pieces or something.
Okay.
She's like, "Well then, I think that would be quite interesting."
Yes. I'm interested
I'm
in
in.
them, but I don't know anything.
I'm in.
Wonderful. Good. All right.
I will let my associates know, and I assume this matter has already been spoken with Priscilla.
No.
Well, you would definitely want to speak with her so she can do the proper requisitions.
All right. I will. I'm new to this, but I'm used to being a soldier and not a planner.
Very well. Then I look forward to when they start. I hope we can move out soon.
Right.
And she waves her staff over you, and she casts Bless.
Cast what?
Bless.
What does that do?
+1, this particular one, Oracle Blast, +1 to all dice rolls for 24 hours.
Oh. He's not used to talking this much. He's not used to being social.
Yep.
So him talking, he just kind of like, after they finish talking and she blesses him, he just kind of like heaves his chest and like lets out like this really long exhale. Like he's just like this awkward, he doesn't want to talk to people, but he has to. And he's just like, all right, it was good talking to you. And he just kind of walks to the doorway, hits his head on the top of the doorway, walks back out. And I'll go find Priscilla. Oh boy. Is there anything? Does anybody else want to do anything? Because I don't want to keep.
Well, no. Yeah, I'll just say that you go find Priscilla, and she recommends one more person to you. So we'll do that scene really quick here before we head out. So you've got a scholar, a stealthy person, and then she recommends one more person to you. She gives you hold on a sec. She directs you to this man. And basically she says that he is probably would be good to have just another kind of martial person there just to kind of even the odds in case you run in trouble. And he looks up and he says, "Za! You are Boris, yes?"
Yes. Just like,
yes. Well, he says, "Come, sit, have some ale if you wish." You see that his office is a little bit messier than some of the other ones, but it's still fairly distinguished. And you can see one thing in particular about this office is he's got lots of ale all over the place, just like jugs or jars, etc., etc.
all
He's
right.
like, "Come, sit, help yourself."
All right. I grab a jug of ale. I uncork the jug, and then drink from the jug.
"My name is Zoriano, and I heard that you had an expedition you wished to go on?"
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I have been bored out of my mind since I joined the Inquisition 3 weeks ago, and I must say, I am really eager to go on one. Would you mind having another such as one such as me coming on the expedition with you?
It means that we're less likely to die, so I don't see why not.
Excellent. Then you're not disturbed by my nickname?
Should I be?
Well, they do call me the man of many faces. Personally, I don't really like the nickname, but it's we cannot choose nicknames.
You only have one face, and he points directly at his face.
He moves his hand up in front of his face, and as it moves over to the right, his face completely changes into that of a different guy.
Does he do the Bon Clay thing?
Yes.
Motherfucker.
And then he moves his hand back to the left, and his face goes back to what it was.
Or Boris lets a big old sniff. Then he drinks more ale and he goes, "Yeah, but it's still only one face. Not many faces." And he laughs.
Zariano laughs too, and you hear more than one voice laugh. Like if you were in a room with like 5 or 6 people laughing, that's what you would hear. You hear, but it's just you and him in the room.
Right. Well, Zariano, the expedition, are you aware of what we're doing?
Yes, Priscilla did tell me, and I have to say, I'm eager. I've always wanted to see a dragon.
We can kill the younger ones, but we cannot kill the mother.
He nods.
I'd
He says, well, it doesn't matter whether it comes to that or not. I'm in.
Good. In that case, I will make proper arrangements.
Excellent. Then I look forward to it.
As do I.
All right.
And he stands up and leaves.
All right.
And he takes the jug of ale with him.
Our scene will now take us to Serena. Or Yami.
Hello.
Hey, Yami, we'll do yours first then. So after you got back from the raid and whatnot, things were pretty quiet for the next few hours, and after a while, you kind of just found yourself in the mess hall, kind of alone. Occasionally, someone would come up to you and have a little chat with you and be somewhat, interested and friendly. But eventually, as you're sitting there in the mess hall, you see this fellow come up and sit across from you. And I say "see" lightly.
Yami would not have her scythe out right now, but she would perk up a bit at the noise he's making. However slight it might be. But she wouldn't say anything just yet, just simply, staring at him as best she could.
He nods politely, and he stays quiet and just kind of helps himself to a drink that he's got.
Yami also stays quiet, just seeming to mind her own business, but also seeming to be rather still, too still.
You're the one they call Yami, yes?
Yami nods.
Hello, my name is Lacria. I've been meaning to ask you something, so that's okay.
After a moment, Yami nods again.
He says, "Would you mind if I make this conversation a little bit easier?"
She just tilts her head to the side a little bit.
"I assure you I mean no harm by it."
No response. Just her head tilting to the other side now.
He is going to use telepathy. Do you resist?
Yami seems to do so initially, but after a moment, she doesn't.
Okay. And you are both now speaking telepathically. And he says, "Tell me, where are you from?"
There is a moment of silence, and then a voice replies, but it definitely does not sound feminine. It goes, "She does not know."
So she has lost her memory, so to speak.
If she has, she cannot tell. If she hasn't, she still can't tell.
I see. Is her mind her own?
Yes, indeed. But I am the one that guides her.
I see. And where are you from?
I, frankly, do not remember either.
You definitely smell as if though you hail from the Fade.
Perhaps that may be. I once was lost, as was Yami here, when she found me. And in a way, I found her.
Hmm. This may sound a little odd, but I think I recognize her.
Do you now? That's a first.
Yes. I have an assignment out west, and I was wondering if you and Yami wish to accompany me, because I feel like we might just be going where Yami is from, because where I remember her from is the place we are going.
Perhaps that would be a good idea.
Of course. And we can
Okay.
we will not be going alone either. I mean, it's not like it's just we'll have aid.
Very well. Frankly, I have been trying to restore her memories for some time. And with each passing day, she seems to recover herself a bit more. But I don't know if it has been obvious, but she's not all there mentally.
Indeed, you and her both just radiate the Fade from you. It's not very often that I see something manifest physically in our world for this long that is from the Fade.
I do believe it is her that anchors me here.
So it would seem. And that's almost never been seen before. And he perks up and then he says, "Well, perhaps then this expedition will do us both quite a bit of benefit then."
What do you call this place we're heading to then? Perhaps it'll jog her memory.
It is a small town called Antiva on the far, far western coast. It's a bit undisturbed by many other races and humans and life to general. It's actually one of the few places left in Ferelden that has, shall we say, wonders, so to speak.
On the outside, Yami did seem to straighten up a tiny, tiny bit when that name was mentioned. I see. Does seem like it resonated with her. Not much, but right now even a little is progress.
He smiles a bit and he's like, then I look forward to going on this expedition with you. We leave within the 10-day.
Very well. I'll ensure that the army is ready by then.
Very well. And he telepathically he says, well, I would shake your hand if you had hands. Chuckles a bit.
Maybe one day, perhaps one day.
If Yami has any decent kind of smell, and the scythe would recognize this guy smells of storm.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, Yami actually has like the scent ability.
Yeah, storm. That's what he smells like. Storm.
Huh.
Storm and rain.
Yami's nose wiggles a little bit, but the scythe refrains from commenting on it for now.
Alrighty. And he just quietly, eats with Yami for a while. And then, Christine, are you here?
Yep.
All right. What was it you
I was
wanted to
dozing
do
off a
again?
bit. Which name? The Ivan,
Yvonne?
the dude. Yes.
Alright.
Because I have to talk to him about my brain shit.
So you go to where Yvonne tends to hang around, which is usually one of the practice areas or one of the gardens. You find him in the gardens today.
I assume that being both Grey Wardens, we know each other from before.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. And you've spoken with him before.
Well, I don't remember.
You approach him as he appears to be in some sort of a kind of peaceful meditation, and as you approach, you don't make a sound, but he still looks up and turns his head towards you.
But I wanted to pet the doggo.
The doggy is very eager for you to pet it.
I'll pet the doggo.
Dog's like, poof. Wags
Yeah.
its stubby little tail.
I'll rub his tummy.
He just immediately rolls over and just stays like that. And he says, Serena. Good morning.
Hey, brother. Been meaning to talk to you.
He looks around and he's like, about the voices?
Mm-hmm. Are you hearing them too?
I am.
There's something curious. I hear them calling my name.
Yes. And I think I know what it might be.
I think that it all started when I was in Redcliffe. But I'm not 100% sure. When did you start getting them?
I started getting them, just a little bit before you left for the Redcliffe expedition.
It's curious because I think that the first I had was, well, there was a bed with a bunch of summoning circles on it, and Lyria destroyed it. I think it was that point that I first.
That probably amplified your touch to the Fade, which probably gave you a insight.
Well, yeah, you see, after that, I think whenever something slightly iffy or magical is happening, I'm getting it.
He looks at you for a bit and kind of nods. He says, well, it says, it tells you to free it, correct?
She will nod.
Says the same to me.
Mm.
I think this voice may be Razakeo or Lasakat. Somehow.
Are we heading for another blight?
It is said that many Grey Wardens heard the whispers of Earthremio before the fifth blight occurred.
Hmm. Well, sure picked a bad timing for it.
Well, hopefully we'll be ready for it this time. But if my contacts and a few allies I have their way, hopefully we will not have to worry about next blight.
How so?
5 blights that have happened previously have been all or nothing from the Darkspawn. If another blight happens, they will be divided.
Does that have to do with a certain sentient darkspawn that I've heard you spoke to?
Perhaps.
Well, if a blight happens, do you expect them to fight on our side?
Some, yes.
I always had your confidence.
Speaking of which, Serena, I found a cure for the poison that flows through our veins, so that we will not perish so quickly. And he pulls out a vial from his belt and hands it to you.
So, what exactly does this do?
Drink it. It will, well, long story short, it'll help you live past 30.
I'm already past 30.
Well, then your death will not come in another 5 years. Perhaps another 30.
Hmm. I might want to think on it.
He nods. It is your choice. If you feel that you wish your life to end in the next 5 years, then so be it. But I should at least offer it.
Oh, yeah. It's good to have the option.
He looks at you a bit, and he says, will there be anything else, Serena?
Hmm. I'm not sure. Is there a way to maybe get more information, if you will, from these voices?
Oftentimes the voices are jumbled and mysterious, but we can sense the Darkspawn before they approach. However, to actually make sense of a lot of the dreams we have requires usually a very dangerous trek into the Fade, into our own dreams. But it can be done. If you can find an apostate or a chantry mage willing to aid you, it would be good to have someone go in with you as an ally, but you might be able to make sense of them.
Well, let's just say my last encounter with the Fade wasn't very fruitful.
Well, you'll be more experienced this time.
Hmm. I suppose I could ask someone.
Smiles and then says, "Let me know when you do. I'll be there to supervise."
Alright. I can do that.
See you soon, Serena. Good luck, sister.
See you later, Ivan. And she will pat the dog's head again.
Roof.
And she'll walk out. So, for this fade thing, I guess I should ask, like, fuck, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline's not the only mage.
Well, you're the only apostate I know.
Technically, Lyria is an apostate.
Well, yeah, but Shayna isn't here,
Yeah.
so.
Sorry, Casey, are you here?
Yes, I am.
All right, so we'll actually go ahead and do one more conversation where you three are meeting in Jacqueline's lab, and then we'll call it good for the day.
Okay.
So, before Serena arrives there, Jacqueline, you receive a knock on your door.
Okay. Come in.
My character waddles in. I was
Oh.
told. Oh, you go first.
Oh no, that's all she was gonna say.
I was told to come here, seeing as you're another alchemist. We were told we could potentially create some things together.
Oh yes. That must be for the new blasting powder. Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, I haven't really gotten anything on it just yet. We still need to talk with Porthos's captain, since he was the original person to work on it.
I may have some reasonable substitutes as well on me.
We're trying to replicate what the Kunaris have started using against ourselves, so whatever we can do will help.
So I would like your help in making some smoke grenades.
Interesting.
I was thinking potentially in different colors as signals, if needed.
Interesting idea. I'm sure we could figure something out, depending on what alchemical components we use. First, we'll need to figure out which ones smoke when burned, and figure out which ones change the color of said smoke.
Very well. My character goes to take a sip from one of his flasks.
And you two kind of start going over stuff, just kind of discussing here or whatnot. Hold on a moment. And as you're going over like smoke bombs and alchemical components and stuff like that, you hear another knock at your door, Jacqueline.
Come on in.
Is that me?
Yes.
No, it's
I'll
the
go in the
maker.
lab. I am the maker. Hey, Jacqueline.
Hello, Serena. What can I do for you?
That's what I'm wondering.
Serena, you also see the one guy that you arrested earlier, just kind of sitting there doing some alchemical stuff.
Oh, I see this fellow got free.
Hello, tea drinker.
So we'll ignore him for now. I have spoken with Ivan about how should I say, occurrences that we have both experienced.
Oh, occurrences like what?
What do you know about us Grey Wardens?
Well, I know that you guys take a special ritual using Darkspawn blood to potentially gain an immunity from it and to sense them. Other than that, that's about it.
Mhm. Well, not just sense them, we can also hear them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And since Redcliffe, we've been hearing them quite a lot.
Would that mean another blight is upon us?
It's nothing definitive. This is what I want to figure out. But in order to do that, we would have to navigate the Fade, and I cannot do this alone.
Ah, so you need to make it into the Fade to make sense of your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Well, I was hoping the next time I was gonna go into the Fade, I was gonna help a friend I made there. Hopefully he can wait
Oh,
a bit longer.
My
I mean,
character's
depends on what you consider more,
my character's not
important.
understanding any of this, so he's just taking big gulps from a couple of his flasks.
Serena will see that and will turn to him and say, I hope you're not equally drunk as Porthos.
Eh, that normal
One
stuff
drunky
doesn't work
dwarf
on
is
me.
enough. Mm. Well, let's just say I prefer people working while sober.
I am sober.
For now.
One
Make
of
sure
these
you
is just
stay that
water.
way. Is it?
Yes, it is.
Is it really?
Hey,
Yes.
that's not good, man. That's nitroglycerin. No.
No, it's just purified water.
Well,
You want a sip?
no, thank you. I'll take your word for it. We'll go back to speaking with Jacqueline. So, when would you be available to do this? Because Ivan needs to be there as well to supervise.
Well, I would like to do it after we've potentially gotten started on the new blasting powder substance that we're trying to create and replicate. That way we have at least a head start. That way I'm not out while I am needed.
You expect our little excursion to be eventful then?
The Fade is always eventful.
Well. What's this about the Fade?
We turn
As
to
you
the
s-
source of the voice.
Yeah, you look in the doorway and you see, guess who?
Priscilla?
No.
Morgan.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Do I know Morgan? Was he fucking the
You've
dude?
seen her around.
Oh,
Jacqueline knows
hello,
her.
Morgan.
Hello,
She
Morgan.
says, "Hello, dearest. And please do tell more about this little trip to the Fade. Have I heard it correctly?
Well, you remember how you were, from what I understand, pulled into the Fade at the incident at the tower?
Oh, yes, I remember that little incident. It was quite fun, actually.
I imagine so. Well, we may have to do it again, but with Serena here, because we might have another blight upon us.
I see. Well, then. Let's not waste any time. And with that, the camera will fade to black. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching.